So we have managed to install the target memory components, these ones here. So let's start up the ETL Studio. And what we want to do here is to do a small test run to see if actually we can get data through. So the first thing we need to do here is to create a new project over here. But before we do that, maybe we'd like to look into some of the default options. And for example, here, notice that we got a default project folder here, and that's looking directly into your documents folder, and maybe you'd like to change that. And actually here I already created a new subfolder for that. I called it simply my target in memory projects folder, this one here. But of course you can also create a new folder from that button. But let's pick this one and click OK. And as you can see, once I go here and create a new project, it'll actually go into that that specified folder. So let's call this one my new test project. And that is, it's an empty project so far. We're going to put in some data here, and that data is coming from a data source. We need to add it here, and the data source that we're going to add is actually this one here. So it's a Microsoft SQL Server relational database, this one here. And for those who can recognize this, you'll see it's actually an NAV demo database with the Kronos demo data. And what we would actually like to import as a test is this specific table, the country region table. So going back here, we can use this, we need to add the data source first. So the data source was the SQL Server type, this one here. And it's located on my personal PC, localhost. And just do an update here, and that should be able to look up the database like this. And that's all we need so far. So we got the SQL Server connection over here. We can rename it if we want to, but let's just try to do a so-called bulk import here. The bulk import will enable you to, well, select the SQL Server as a data source, and also go here to configure the tables to select the tables that you'd like to import. And let's just do a single table, the country region table that we looked at, this one here, and that's the one I would like to import. Before we complete this, maybe we can go here and change the name. We don't really want this long name, just want a table in the in-memory database to be country region like this. So you can see it here, the connection, and it's going to create, import the country region table with all the fields. Over here we also need to add another task, the save task. Every single project that I create should be concluded with the save database task like this. And now we can go here and save it at first maybe, and then build it. And we can see here that the building succeeded. That's fine. And then we can try to run it. First thing we notice here is it's asking for a deployment folder here. So we need to go into our configuration options right here with regarding to deployment, and we need to go into these settings here, and you can see there's a default public deployment folder here which we're going to use, a publish folder. And now we can try again. Want to run it, and we'll just keep an eye on this one down here to see if goes through successfully or whether it's got any errors. And actually it says here that it succeeded, but if you look here, there appears to be at least one error. And if you scroll up a little bit here, we may also be able to find what the error actually is. So it's around here. It has something to do with connecting to my database, actually to my SQL Server database. So the authentication method may be wrong. And this is actually something related to the scheduling service. So if I open up my services here and find the target scheduling service, in memory scheduling service, this one here, and have a look into properties of that, we can see that it's trying to log on with a local system account. That apparently does not work. So in this case, I'm going to use my own personal account for logging on to the SQL Server database. So setting up my credentials here, the password as well, like this. Okay, in that, and here it says we need to restart the service for that to work. So let's go here and restart it. And that's it, it's done. We can go back here and try again. So if I do another run here, and again keep an eye on the log at the bottom here, it should actually go through now, succeed, but without any errors. And indeed, seems to be okay. So this was a successful first test run.